Hey, Tim, you're muted.
Tim, you're muted. Yeah. Tim, you're muted.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the comedy phone-in extravaganza, Chuckle, Ruckus, the online phone-in comedy extravaganza, where we make a beeline to the meat and potatoes in today's buffet of hot-button issues. In the cerebral coliseum, tic-tac-toes, or do toes tic-tacs? Brass tacks, that is. Let's get down to it. We have an esteemed panel of guests to discuss all of our issues today, and if you have any questions or comments for our esteemed panel of experts, please text your questions or phone in at 587-988-9969 or in the old YouTube chat. So with all of that done, let's get down to business. Our guests, you can all turn on your videos there, turn on your cameras, unmute yourselves. Wonderful. Let's meet our guests. First of all, it is such an honor to have with us member of the Legislative Assembly, Pat Reen. Pat, how are you doing today?
Folks, it's great to be with you all. I'm so glad about getting this province back on track. And although, you know, I'm not officially part of a party anymore, I'm still ready to fulfill that mandate.
My name is Morris Dillich, and I am a autodidact and a heterosexual white male in isolation. I've come up with various tips and forms to give you all better treatments of self-help and how to help yourself in the everyday. So I'm hoping to share some of my knowledge with you today. Thank you very much for having me here, Tim. It's very nice to be here with you, Tim, and with Sandra, as well as Variola. I'm so happy to see Pat.
Yeah, okay, that's great. I'm so excited to hear from you. Now we'll move on. Suzanne Evians, why don't you introduce yourself to our audience?
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm a household name, so I hardly need an introduction, but I do appreciate the spotlight.
Wonderful. Now we'll move on. Sal Tropical, a prominent Lloydminster businessman, I understand.
Yeah, you got that right, Tim. I just want to thank you for having me on today. If you're not aware, I'm Sal Tropical. I'm a resident of Lloydminster, and I own Lloydminster's only tropical-themed Airbnb. So if you're looking for a fun place to holiday, you know, check out Sal Tropical.
A very fitting guest for today's topic. And
Thanks,
now
Tim.
our next guest, I am very excited to introduce. Frankly, I didn't think that we would ever see this guest again in the 21st century. Variola, aka Smallpox, how are you doing tonight?
Hi, oh Tim, it's lovely to see your beautiful little face there. It's been nice, 40 years of retirement, just hanging out, me cozy in my blanket. But we're talking about travel, and I've seen my fair share, so I'm excited to talk.
And we are all excited to listen. Now we will move on to Google Maps Obsessor 123. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Google Maps Obsessor 123, and like most things that I've loved, the more that I got into it, the more that I realized it was evil. For example, did you know that in addition to the fleet of the Street View cars, Google employees, trikes, trolleys, and snowmobiles are employed in areas that SUVs can't access? That means that the government is watching you at all times. You might not think they are, but they're there.
Well, let's hope that we have some actual viewers watching us today too. And lastly, of course, we have Sandra from Windermere.
Hey, I'm Sandra from Windermere. We're almost a year into this pandemic and I'm still childless, so working on that. But I am a huge Expedia lover, user. I'm a silver member, working my way up to gold, and just feeling real chapped that I can't get those points right now.
I understand. Once again, this is a reminder to our viewers that this is a call-in show. So if you do have any questions, don't hesitate to call the number right there. That's the guy. Text messages also work, and comments in the YouTube channel are perfect. So let's get things started. I think, Sandra, you are actually the the perfect person to be discussing this topic with. We are talking about international travel, once a necessary nexus of globalism, commerce, economy, has obviously seen a huge dip in the last 12 months. Sandra, you are a heavy traveler. How has the coronavirus affected your travel plans this year?
Well, this is my passport. This is how empty. This is how empty it is. There's nothing in there. And you want to see, you know, some things I love, souvenirs? Hawaii, 2019. The UK, 2017. 2020, nothing. Disappointing. I thought I was going to get pregnant in some tropical location. Hasn't happened.
I'd like to offer an idea perhaps for Sandra for something that she could do. I mean, I've also been someone that really enjoys traveling and does not enjoy the isolation I've had. Perhaps you could make yourself a passport to different rooms in your house. And then perhaps your spouse or maybe even partner or maybe the mail person individual or skip the dish guy, you know, he can like stamp your stuff when they're around, and then you travel around your house and it's like you're traveling, and then you'll probably find something you thought you lost. So that'll be like a memento.
Yeah, I agree with Morris. You can bring the vacation to you. Here at the Tropical Airbnb, you know, when customers come, we make the vacation come to them. We put sand down, we put water in. You can take a room in your house, Sandra, and make it like Bora Bora or Turks and Caicos.
I agree with Sal Tropical, because did you know that Google Maps has over 20 petabytes of data, which is equal to approximately 21 million gigabytes, or around 2,500 tetrabytes?
All right, yeah, that's thank you. That's good enough. So Sal, it sounds like you are going to extreme lengths to bring the international to the local. Now, MLA Pat Reen, I'd like to talk to you about you have taken the local and you've made it international.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm not sure why everybody's thinking they're in a box right now. You know, I am the government, and I am telling you, as long as we do it safely, you can go to dangerous places, okay? You can put yourself in danger as long as you do it safely. I'm showing you my passport right now, okay? Since the beginning of the pandemic, Cabo, Bulgaria. Oh my God, what is this? Mongolia? I thought I'd check it out, okay? Okay, it's not a big deal as long as you as an individual keep yourself safe, okay? I know the government's saying something else, but the government is also saying something else. And the government is saying, be safe, put yourself in danger, okay?
Okay.
Why'd you go to Mongolia?
Well, you know, I got the experience of the sands in Mexico, and I was like, what is another country that starts with M that also has sand? And so I thought I'd just, you know, take a little detour on the way home, head to Mongolia, put my feet in the sand there. And then Jason Kenney told me that I was no longer in the party, and I was like, I should really be fine. I'm going to keep on traveling. And that's what I'm here to tell you. I'm here to tell you it's safe to travel. Okay, it's fine. I'm fine. You can be fine. Just do it safely. Put yourself in danger.
Just going to ask Pat, see, I don't understand why you would feel the need to leave your home when in fact, Google Maps has maps of the entire world. And in fact, it has navigation inside specific buildings. That's right, folks. The government is watching you at home through your laptops, at work, when you go to the can, everywhere.
I'm also noticing.
Google Maps, I really like this line you're driving of like the government is watching you. I don't like that. I don't want to, you know, honestly, I don't want to be watching you right now. I don't want to be the government watching you. But where it started with this assumption of like a home, I have multiple homes already. I'm all over the frickin' place. Okay, I'm in Texas. I'm in Edmonton. I'm in Lesser Slave Lake. I'm in other places in my constituency, which I'll figure out what those are and then I'll get back to you. But when you have so many homes already, nowhere is home. Okay, so the world's your playground.
This is Tim Makula. You're on the air. Please speak your question loudly and clearly. Sorry, I'm gonna have to. 1 second. You're gonna have to do that one more time. Let's hear what you have to say.
We can't hear anything, Tim.
Not really. It sounds like
we're having some tech. This is a bit of a pivot. We're going to start with Suzanne Evians. Then I would love to hear Smallpox's take on this. Is it possible to find love in the pandemic?
Oh, it's a perfect question for someone of my stature. And I agree. I think love it knows no bounds, and we have to follow it through it all. And that does often mean we have to break COVID procedures to find our love. And just like my friend Pat and I understand, it's really important to travel wherever you want, not be limited by other things like COVID to find love, because sometimes you do Tinder for a while and you think, oh my gosh, it's just a hot mess of Canadians and gross. And I don't mean to be so harsh, but like yikes, and like and nasty. Yeah, you have to go wherever you gotta go, and often for me that's France, and I will go to France.
I got an interesting thing is why are we in such a big rush? Don't we have nothing but time?
Perhaps because our lives are a finite period of time and we're only mortal. Well, we're mortal always, but that mortality is what keeps us, alive for only so long.
Yeah,
There's no way to know when the government will all of a sudden decide just to end everything. They're in control. They're watching.
Wow, they're only in as much control as you give them. Let me look back at my old history books here. According to my knowledge, as long as white people exist, we will be spreading nonsense all around, all over the place. And so we will have so much time to just move around and get from space to space. But what I want to know is when it comes to love, we're spreading so much joy and we're letting things flourish and it's fun. And I mean, I love love just as much as anybody else, but I also know that it can be it can be the downfall.
That is
I think
indeed
Smallpox and I are on the same page. We get each other, we understand boundaries, and we don't care about boundaries.
Would you say that you and Smallpox are in the sheets together?
We're in the sheets together. Smallpox is not my disease of choice, but I do think we agree on many a subject, and I think we have a beautiful existence together.
You definitely keep me flowing, and I appreciate that. But in my old age, I'm tired. I would like to continue my retirement. But hey, I mean, Suzanne, it's been fun,
Now I want to pivot. Then we'll move to a slightly new topic. Sandra, you have an express goal of finding love in the pandemic. Could you tell about the closest you've gotten in the last, let's say, 11 months?
Yes. Okay. So I've been married for 4 years to my husband, Simon, looking to find that love connection we once had so that we can get pregnant. But it's been a journey. It's been a long journey. First 3 years, fantastic. This past year and a bit, wow. I'm trying lots of different things. I liked Sal's suggestion actually of different rooms, and you can stamp the passport, but I instead of passport, hoping Simon will step seed right up into me.
And Sandra, have you thought about just removing the decal? Because I feel like that puts sperm back in a man and not in you.
I can confirm my
it.
sperm is basically in my brain right now. It is fearful. It is fearful of that decal.
It's getting me that word love.
A PayPal is a PayPal? What are you talking about?
Live, laugh, love.
My Live, Laugh, Love decal on my wall that I purchased at HomeSense.
I love it. I have stuff like sand. This is just a 3D mock-up of what the place will look like, but I love words so people know what the things are. So Sandra, I say keep it,
I think that is very good. And perhaps if we're going along the line of like doing things in your home to make it like more worldly, like maybe each room in your house is like a different theme. Like maybe, you've got the live, laugh, love room, and then you've got like the passionate embrace room, and then you've just got like, I don't know, like hardcore intercourse room, just like different decals for different moods and expressions of your love and humanity and sexuality.
Morris, can you just like on your hand show us the number of sexual partners you've had?
Good job, Morris.
Yeah, there he is.
Nice work, Morris. All right.
Sandra, just really quick.
I'm sorry, Smallpox. We have to move on. We have another question. So MLA Pat Reen, we are going to play a quick. I think this is a classic. As a politician, I'm sure you fielded this question many times. The question is, can you ask MLA Pat Reen, fuck, marry, kill, WestJet, Jason Kenney, the oil sands? Which one do you marry?
That's a good question.
Well, on caucus retreats, we play this game all the time, honestly, and it's those three that come up. It was WestJet, Jason Kenney, and oil sands. I'm definitely gonna have to fuck the oil sands because it's that deep sandy dirt that I was talking about with Mexico, Mongolia. We've got the best in the world, so I'm gonna get the best. Honestly, Jason Kenney kicked me out of caucus recently, so I will have to end Jason Kenney because I do have that anger towards him. And that will mean that I will marry WestJet, which is amazing because I want to see this world. I want to put myself in danger and I want to do it safely. So I'm really glad that I was able to answer this question.
WestJet also has an amazing rewards program. Just want to say that. So I'm with you on that, Pat.
Did you know that WestJet is one of the third-party people who take pictures for Google Maps? Do you know who else takes pictures for Google Maps? The government.
I was one of those map people once. I had one of those backpacks in the big pole, and I got hit by lightning.
So Google Maps, I'm gonna say, I like where you're going, but the way you're saying it is putting me off. Like to be in power, to be a politician, you gotta talk like the people. You can't be talking in this like nerdy, weird way. Because I think people would get what you're saying. Albertans would hear that and they'd be like, yeah, I don't want Google Maps looking at my butt. Okay, I don't want Google Maps freaking looking at me taking a dump. Okay, but the way that you're saying it, it's weird and I don't like it and I wouldn't vote for you.
All right, now I'm going to cut you off here. We're going to pivot to WestJet. WestJet actually has been in the news recently. They are cutting jobs and slashing flight capacity by 1/3. Obviously, this is in immediate response to the pandemic, something that we are hoping won't continue. So I guess my question is, what role does the government play in supporting airline industry, something that I think many of you will agree is an essential service? Should that be privatized? Should it be public? Where's the line?
What is it now?
It's private.
It's private. Okay, very good. Thank you.
It should stay private. I mean, ultimately, privatization has been the gift to capitalism. And I feel like if we go and attack our systems that have been established, that is to attack our whole country in a process. And how dare we say our country is not perfect in every single way, no mistakes, no flaws, just like me.
I am so ready to tack onto this point. I think it should stay private. Literally, the thing that is strangleholding the airlines right now is the government. That's why we're trying to shrink the government until it is the size of a small chickpea, okay? The government...
Until it is this...
That's a great point there, Suzanne and Pat. But Sal Tropical, I want to pivot to you. You are a business owner. You're in the private business industry. And have you been getting any government support? Is it fair for the government to be supporting WestJet and not Sal Tropical?
No, I haven't gotten any support for the government, but part of it is because my apartment is directly on the border between Alberta and Saskatchewan. So technically we're not in any province and technically not in the country. We're our own sovereign state over here at the Tropical Airbnb. So
I'm sorry, Sal. Could you please expand on that?
well, yeah. So since we're right on the apartment is right on the border. Like if you look out my window, you see those two big red poles. So we're technically not in no laws here at the Tropical Airbnb.
Okay. Can you? How does that affect the guest experience? The absolute lack of laws.
I think
I for one can comment on that. I
Go
have
ahead.
personally stayed with my husband Simon at Sal's place.
they
and
were
we
here.
had excellent service. Sal was a fantastic host. Love those blueberry waffles.
And they were so good with the kids. All my kids were here and they loved it.
Wanted to take one home, literally.
You should have. We got 16 now.
You have 16 kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Are
so,
all those
we
16
have a-
kids?
Yeah, that seems like a lot of children for you to have. I mean, honestly,
one for each
that
wife.
seems like irresponsible amount of children. I don't know if anyone should have 16 children. I mean, you could probably give up one if you're happy. I don't know.
I don't know. If you work really hard and you get yourself two good children, they're two stronger versions of yourself, and they really migrate quickly and they get the job done.
You're talking about mitosis, huh?
I'm gonna pause you here. Smallpox, I'm glad you're chatting here. We actually have a question for you. Which COVID phase will become smallpox? Is it this month? That's a question from one of our viewers. When does COVID become smallpox?
Well, I will say COVID is a little bit of a hasty one there, and because they're moving so fast, they're trying to get to places so quick. You're so quick to being able to find a vaccine, and I'm thinking it's going to get to eradicated sooner. And honestly, disgracefully, in a disgraceful way. It took centuries to get rid of me. 1980 was when they stopped me. You know, the first detected case, 11,045 BC.
That was like when dinosaurs were around,
Sorry.
right?
11,000 BC.
I don't. Are you sure about that? That seems like scientifically, like incorrect. Like, how could they diagnose it as like that 11,000 and then it's
Here's the
scientist.
thing. So basically what happens is once I get into your system, then little pustules pop up and then they get hard, they crust, and then they fall off. So you have big old scars. A really quick question, Pat. It looks like you may have had a little bit of an incident on your face. They do come in your face quite regularly. Is that a pox related eyebrow choice?
I'm just bald and I have a giant forehead.
But the eyebrows though.
Okay, let's refrain from the personal attacks here.
Okay.
So we have a lot of questions coming in. We've tried the phone calls. It hasn't been working quite yet, but I'm convinced it will. So our viewers, once again, feel free to phone in. Before we get to that, we do have one question. Now, this one is a bit of a mouthful, so strap yourselves in. We start with answering this one. I think we'll start with Suzanne and then Sandra. I would love to hear your response to that. We have the Boston Pizza on Calgary Trail claims that BP classics are back. Should the government bail out Boston Pizza, the crown jewel of the Alberta dining scene, so that the classics can continue to be enjoyed for generations to come? That is a fantastic question, very pertinent, very necessary. Suzanne, what do you think?
I do agree. I think we need to bail out any company that's making a certain amount of money. I think it's really important for society to say, if you've done well already, you can do bad later. I think that's essential to business surviving. If we say Boston Pizza, you've been on Dragon's Den, I like your pierogi pizza, then we should be able to say, it's fine that you're so bad nobody wants to buy you anymore. I think we need to be able to say that, because if we don't, they'll go under. And how will Dragon's Den continue? How will that man continue to be a millionaire? We can't know unless we say, yes, yes, we will throw you a lifeline. Now, where the lifelines stop is when they're not already millionaires, but we all understand why that is so important.
That is an extremely cogent defense of Boston Pizza. Sandra from Windermere, I understand that Boston Pizza must be very important to your community. Could you speak to this?
Okay, as an avid Expedia user, I've traveled all over this as I have points, if you know what I mean. That's a lot. But I will say, I've emailed Jim personally. You know, Suzanne's talking about Jim, who's on Dragon's Den. We all know that. I've emailed him
Been in
personally.
a Dragon's Den.
All right. I've emailed him personally. How come you don't have a rewards program? You don't have a punch card. You don't offer me anything for coming multiple times. You don't give me points. You don't give me free desserts, free rewards. So as a loyal customer, I'm not getting anything back. If they had a rewards program, I'd be all for the government bailing them out, but they don't. So if I'm not going to get anything back as the consumer, why should a big millionaire Jim get
That
a
is
bail?
a vicious takedown and frankly a national icon. But if we are already tearing down statues of our John A. McDonald's, why not move on to Boston Pizza? Excellent point, Sandra. Now we have another question coming in. This one is for Google Maps Obsessor 123. This is an oddly personal question, but I am interested in the answer. Can you give a summary of your 7th junior high experience, your 7th grade junior high experience, Google Maps Obsessor?
Yes. Okay. So when I was in junior high, that's when I first got my retainers here. And I've been wearing them ever since. Because in junior high, in grade 7, is also when I learned that if you don't have metal somewhere on your body, so this metal has kept me safe for years and kept my teeth relatively straight. Grade 7 was also the time that I met my first boyfriend, Google Maps. And since then, he's been fairly faithful, but on occasion, sometimes I log on and he's in a different country than he was when I first saw him, when I left him last. So we've been having some issues recently, but for the most part, everything's okay.
Now,
I got a quick question for Google Maps, if you don't mind, Tim.
Go ahead.
Can robots love, do you think?
Sal, my answer to that question is Google Maps can. Google Maps can literally show you the world, and he will if you ask him to.
Can they live or laugh too?
Google Maps can't laugh. That's the one sad thing. But my goal is to teach him enough about humor and laughter and joy that maybe one day he too can laugh.
This is wow, you know, we come here for the hard-hitting questions, but sometimes we get the hard-hitting emotions. I want to move on from this. We all occupy different spaces in society. We have a very unique perspective, and I'm very interested in the answer to this next question. I want to know, what do you see as the future of travel? We've gone over what it was in the past. What's going to be your thoughts on this?
Oh, yes. Thank you so much. Well, that's a very good question. And I think it will all depend on you to just take over and plague us. So it will be how they.
I just have a little recommendation. If you get yourself in the
Library?
Yeah, I'm calling balderdash here on Suzanne. It's just the way she said these things. I think she is really exaggerating her relationship with the 45th president.
It wasn't a library, it was a way.
And disgusting.
I feel like our moderator is biased because he was very right wing. He would think that was cute.
Yes.
You know, in their defense, I've met Donald too.
Yeah.
Oh, did he stay in your tropical bedroom?
It was when I was a child. I went to Disney World and I met Donald and I met Mickey and I met Goofy and I met the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
I think you're misunderstanding the question, Sal.
Often.
Oh my God.
I got really close to meeting him once.
Donald Duck.
Oh, the duck. No, I couldn't get there, but Trump, I got close.
All right, we're gonna move on here. We are just about wrapping up this show here. Once again, audience, this is your last chance. Phone in, text in with any last minute questions. As I am slowly vamping while we do that, I think it is time for our closing statements. I think we've learned a lot here. We've answered a lot of questions, and we've also come out with some fresh questions, which I think is always the spirit of good debate, good dialogue, and good thinking. So I would like to leave with a closing question for all of you. My question, oh, we got something on the phone here.
Goody.
This time it's working. Hello?
I was wondering if you guys know how to 3D print sperm.
Just to be clear, I thought I heard, how do you reprint sperm? Was
I heard
way off
retread.
base?
I heard
3D
3D print sperm.
3D print
Which
sperm.
is, this seems like another riddle. Like, I'm pretty sure that pretty much most men could do that for you.
Okay, Maura, speak for yourself.
In order to answer the question of the caller, in fact, I don't personally know how to 3D print sperm, but do you know who does know how to 3D print sperm?
The government?
The government! The government knows how to do it. The government has been doing it for years. Where do you think Ronald Reagan came from?
I find that if you just sit long enough, then eventually something will change, and then another being will fall off of you and be like.
But I'm 4 years into a marriage to my college sweetheart Simon, and not pregnant. Still not pregnant. So if it was,
Yeah, because Simon sucks, Sandra. We didn't want to
really
say
seems
it.
like
but
Simon's-
again,
I agree. I
feel
agree.
like Simon, I don't know.
Simon's the problem here.
Have you prayed to a fertility goddess?
I've prayed to my live, laugh, love decal, and that hasn't worked. So
Oh,
You know what,
pray for you.
Sandra? You could always ask the government to kill Simon. They have those capabilities. Justin Trudeau would do it.
that doesn't
That's
solve
what
my
you do.
problem, though. You know, if I want to get pregnant, especially if I want to get pregnant in a nice place, I need to have someone stable with me.
That truer words have never been spoken. You know what? I think this is as good as any a time to close this conversation. I think we may have not reached consensus on the bigger questions, but I do think we agree that, Sandra, the problem is your dipshit husband
Yes.
and nothing else. So surely we can fix that. So that has been another wonderful episode of the Chuckle Ruckus Phone In Comedy Extravaganza. We're back on January 30th with a whole host of guests. Remember to phone in. And ladies and gentlemen, your questions were so lovely. So with that, I bid you adieu and have a lovely Saturday night. Go out and party. Why not? Have some fun. I'll see you at Sal Tropicals.
I'm on my way personally, gonna get those points.
Yeah, we got 3 rooms. I'll let y'all in.
Sandra, why don't you bone Sal?